All right, camera back on. Modern equipment. Now, today you're really gonna have to put on your thinking caps because you have to know the difference between his story and our story. The Caucasian would have no story if we had not permitted him on our planet through a gravitation process 6,000 years ago. Meantime, we've been here for trillions of years. So his story is truth mixed with falsehood. But he don't know no better. All right? That's who he is. Ours is just the truth. Okay? Now, our storyline today is going to deal with slavery. The transatlantic slave trade. We should be on this for maybe the next 3 weeks. Because you have to understand, as we are leaving, put those over there for me. If you have to understand that we're leaving 1492 when Columbus sailed the ocean blue. See, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, read that on page 3. You got to read this. You got to understand what happened with Columbus of 1492 when he sailed the ocean blue.
That's right. This is from Message to the Black Man in America on page 3. It says, the shutting up and loosening of the devil mentioned in Revelation 27 could refer to the time between the AD 570 through 1555, which is nearly 1,000 years that they and Christianity were bottled up in Europe by the spread of Islam by Muhammad. May the peace of Allah be upon him and his successors.
Okay.
Their being loose to deceive the nations of the earth would refer to the time between AD 1555 to 1955, when they, John Hawkins, deceived our fathers and brought them into slavery in America, and were loosed free to travel over the earth and deceive the people.
Now, we're going to read from the Supreme Wisdom, okay, entitled, we're going to read about Columbus, because John Hawkins was a British explorer, but in reality, he was a pirate.
That's right.
He was out for profit. That's what pirates were called, profiteers.
That's
okay?
Right. Okay, so this is the Supreme Wisdom, and this is question number 3. Why do we let half original man Columbus discover the poor part of the planet Earth? Answer: because the original man is the God and owner of the earth and knows every square inch of it, and has chosen for himself the best part. He did not care about the poor part. Columbus was a half original man and was born in Italy, which is southeast Europe. His full name was Christopher Columbus, and the place he discovered was North America. He found the Indians here who were exiled 16,000 years ago from India. They are original people.
His full name was Christopher Columbus. As we mentioned 2 weeks ago, the word Christopher means Christ, and the word Columbus means the dog. And we made a point that Christopher Columbus was on a religious campaign. He was not on a gold quest like the conquistadors that came, we didn't mention this last week, 17 years after him and went down to Mexico and just ravaged the people with disease, slaughter, etc. But those were the Spaniards. Now, Christopher Columbus, again, the Christ, Christopher Columbus, the dog. Christopher Columbus actually thought he was who the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is, and that's the representative of the Christ. That's why the criterion, during the criterion, the minister had to let the whole world know that he are the fulfillment of all the prophet's prediction. In other words, he said, there can be no prophet until no prophet can be said to be a prophet until what he prophesied about is fulfilled. And he said, I, Farrakhan, am the fulfillment of all the prophet's prediction. And that's why you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with the dog out front, because of who he represented, and that's the Christ. Now, again, it wasn't Columbus that brought us into slavery. It wasn't even the conquistadors, they greedy, bloodthirsty selves. They were conquered by the British, who saw the value in us in slavery. And they wanted to be the next world ruler, so they went to war against the Spanish and became the second world ruler, with them coming out of that 1,000-year bottled up in Europe to reign the world. Okay, so we're going to go to, let me see. We're going to go to now, their little history book. We're going to go to the history book, An African American Experience. Okay, page 5 and page 6. This book was made in 91 because black people were complaining out the roots that we need to study more of our story and we need to hear it from our perspective. But what we didn't understand is what we call our story is really in his story.
That's right. So
it's limited. Only with the life-giving teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad will you get the true story of who we are. And that's why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Allah's greatest desire for us is that we should accept our own and learn to be ourselves. That's why he came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad to give us a thorough knowledge of ourselves. That's why this book was written, Message to the Black Man and Woman of America. We're to be raised first, because we're the only ones that have suffered the greatest of all suffering. Thereby it qualified us to give justice to all of humanity. All of humanity, including the Caucasian that brought us over here in the holds of those ships.
that's right.
Because we made him for a certain purpose, and he served that purpose.
Natural enemy.
All right, we gave him form and expression, and he did his job well, so he can get out too if he bow to the one that sits on the throne today, and that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the criteria. Now, we're going to read from this book, this little African American experience.
What page is it? Page 5?
Page 5.
Okay. This is page 5. It reads, The Ancient Civilization of Egypt. The Ancient Civilization of Egypt. African Egypt, wrote African American historian W.E.B. Du Bois in the mid-1900s, was the first great experiment in human civilization. Starting more than 5,000 years ago, ancient Egyptians developed systems of mathematics, writing, astronomy, and religion. They also constructed monumental architecture, such as pyramids that served as tombs for their rulers and huge stone temples.
Okay. These pyramids, they believe, again, we're coming through their story, but from my study of the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad, those pyramids, as well as that Sphinx, was put there as a reminder that one day the original man, after giving a made man time to rule, would come back into his own.
That's right.
And we're in that dispensation in time right now. So the pyramid, the master builder. The Sphinx, a lion's body, the king of the jungle, now the king of the planet Earth, right, and God of the universe. That's right. A man's head. Go That's on, right, baby.
It says Egypt, in the northeastern corner of Africa, lay at a crossroads of the ancient world. Through this region, peoples from the continent of Asia and Europe first traveled. The people who lived along the Nile formed important links between Africa and other parts of the ancient world, especially southwestern Asia and Greece. Accounts of Egypt can be found in the writings of many ancient peoples, the Hebrews, the Greeks, the Romans, and others. Egypt's population included Africans from the south, peoples from the Mediterranean region of the north, and Asian peoples from the east. The Nile might seem like a natural link between the peoples who live along it. However, a series of cataracts or strong rapids made river travel difficult. Even so, the Egyptians managed to follow the Nile into Nubia. Egyptian culture, skills, beliefs, customs, and arts influenced many aspects of life there, while the southern Africa enriched Egypt with their own culture. The region along the north portion of the Nile was known as Lower Egypt, while that of the southern portion was called Upper Egypt. For hundreds of years, these two regions were separate kingdoms. Then, in about 3100 BC, a ruler named Menes united the two kingdoms. Menes established the first dynasty, or ruling family.
Okay.
Over 30 dynasties ruled Egypt from 3100 BC to 340 BC. The earliest dynasties ruled from about 3100 BC to 2686 BC. The last 10 dynasties ruled from about 1085 BC to 340 BC. Egyptian history between these early and late dynasties is divided into three major periods called kingdoms.
Okay.
Old Kingdom, 2700 BC to 2200 BC. Middle Kingdom, 2050 BC to 1800 BC. And New Kingdom, 1570 BC to 1090 BC.
Now, one of the most significant aspects of those dynasties is the 18th dynasty. But first, let me clear something here. Again, this is his story. This is his story of us, of our continent. I'm sorry, sir. You were not here
We're not here.
during that dynasty. That's why it says BC, before Christ, not AD. You dictate history according to after the death of Christ.
That's right.
But we were here BC, and we were here not only thousands but trillions of years before you were allowed on our planet 6,000 years ago. That's just the truth. Now this whole concept of Africa, here, you can put it down. Read what the messenger says about Africa. You know, that in reality, listen to what the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was taught by Master Father Muhammad about this continent that everybody insists on calling Africa, but that's not what it is. Come on, baby.
Okay, from the Supreme Wisdom, question number 6. Why does the devil call our people Africans? Answer: to make our people of North America believe that the people on that continent are the only people they have and are all savages. He bought a trading post in the jungle of that continent.
Yes.
The original people live on this continent, and they are the ones who strayed away from civilization and are living a jungle life.
Straight away from
That's
civilization and are living a jungle life.
The original people called this continent Asia, but the devil called it Africa to try to divide them. He wants us to think that we are all different.
See, now he have everybody calling this part of our planet the Middle East. How is it the Middle East when it's connected to so-called Africa? Because it's not Africa. It's all Asia. And this is why when you get into what the planet was before the deportation of the moon,
right.
it was called Pangaea. I have to reiterate this. According to the teaching of Elijah Muhammad, it was one land mass. You could see Africa, South America, North America, etc. Okay? Pangaea. One land mass before the deportation of the moon. It says here 66 trillion years ago. Moon is made after being blasted from the earth, Asia, by one of our. The Caucasian wasn't here. 66 trillion years ago by one of our original scientists, gods. Okay? That was when we denoted the first dissatisfied scientist on our planet, or God on our planet. Now, it was called Pangea. Okay? And it was a theory called the fusion theory. This is the Caucasian. This just not, it's the Caucasian bearing witness to the teachings of the most honored Elijah Muhammad. Read that fusion theory, baby.
The fusion theory. This theory proposes that the moon was once a part of the earth and somehow, okay, separated from the earth early in the history of the solar system. The present Pacific Ocean basin is the most popular site for the part of the earth from which the moon separated.
Now, this was discovered by a meteorologist by the name of Alfred Rigler in 1912. See, in 1912, they bad witness to what Honorable Elijah Muhammad was given to by Master Fard Muhammad on the deportation of the moon. They're bearing witness. So this is not Africa. The whole planet before the deportation was called Asia, and that's really what it is today. This would be West Asia, East Asia, North, South Asia. Okay? Now, again, we're talking about that little timeline of his story bringing us into slavery because he was permitted to do that. He could have been stopped, but we had been prepped.
That's right.
We were prepped 50,000 years ago. Original man, know thyself. Okay? 50,000 years ago, the tribe of Shabazz. Now this happened after the deportation of the moon, which was thousands of years later. Then the original man, the tribe of Shabazz, the tribe that came with the earth, the tribe that discovered the best part. Is that the reading about the best part of the planet Earth? But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we discovered the best part, which is the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and the present seat of the holy city of Mecca. Okay, the rich Nile Valley of Egypt. Here it is, the present city of the holy city of Mecca. All right, that's the best part of the planet Earth. Okay, now we're going to get into the Caucasian and history. And history, after we sent them Christopher Columbus, after we commissioned Columbus to bring them out of the caves of Europe. Now,
where are we going next?
Okay, we're going to Message to the Black Man, Original Man, Know Thyself.
Okay, so that's last. Okay, Message to the Black Man.
Message to the Black Man, page 31.
All right. Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, Original man, know thyself. It is knowledge of self that the so-called Negroes lack, which keeps them from enjoying freedom, justice, and equality.
It is the lack of the knowledge of self that keep black people. Right. See, we still are yet a slave to the Caucasian because we refuse to listen to the voice of God in our midst. And time is running out, people.
That's right.
Read on, baby.
This belongs to them divinely as much as it does to other nations of the earth.
Divinely.
That's right. It is Allah God's will and purpose that we shall know ourselves. Therefore, he came himself to teach us the knowledge of self. Who is better knowing of who we are than God himself? He has declared that we are descendants of the Asian black nation and the tribe of Shabazz. You might ask, who is this tribe of Shabazz? Originally, they were the tribe that came with the earth, or this part, 66 trillion years ago, when a great explosion on our planet divided it into two parts. One we call Earth and the other Moon.
Deportation of the moon.
That's right. That's right. This was done by one of our scientists, God, who wanted the people to speak one language,
Yeah.
one dialect for all, but was unable to bring this about.
Come on.
He decided to kill us
Oh.
by destroying our planet, but still he failed. We were lucky to be on this part, Earth, which did not lose its water in the mighty blasting away of the part called Moon. Allahu Akbar.
Okay, when the blast took place, the moon was blasted out 12,000 miles. And the earth, as we know it, because it was all moon at one time, and the earth was separated and dropped 36,000 miles. The water turned, pulled back on the water on the moon, turned and pulled back onto the earth, and now the earth is 75% covered with water. And the moon itself is 25% the size of the earth. All right? And the moon, they call it a planet, but it don't revolve around the sun. The moon revolves around the planet Earth,
right.
because the earth has something that belongs to the moon, and that's
right.
its water. Another story for another time. Come on, baby.
Right. Couldn't live without it though.
Couldn't live without it.
We, the tribe of Shabazz, says Allah God, were the first to discover the best part of our planet to live on.
Okay, we discovered the best part of our planet to live on, because once the blasting took place,
Yes.
the world the planet had to be brought back to stability with the same types of ship that we use that is on the mother wheel right now. The same types of scout ships brought it back by establishing mountains on the planet and bringing stability back to it, equalizing, and that way we was able to live on the planet as well. But now we got to find the best part, and we found it, Egypt.
That's
All right, the rich Nile Valley, and the present seat of the holy city of Mecca.
That's right, the baby planes.
Oh
That's
yeah, the
right.
baby planes. Thank you, baby.
All
Baby
right.
planes.
It says the rich Nile Valley of Egypt and the present seat of the holy city Mecca, Arabia. That's it. Okay, the origin of our kinky hair, says Allah, came from one of our dissatisfied scientists 50,000 years ago, who wanted to make all of us tough and hard in order to endure the life of the jungle.
Okay, go on. Finish that reading. I gotta say something.
Okay, you sure? Because I want to read that again anyway. So
Please
go
read
ahead
it
and make
again.
one. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna read it again. I'm gonna say my. I'm gonna
Just
make
say
my
yours
point.
first, 'cause I want.
Here it is. Original man. That's what she's reading for. What page? A message to the
Page
black man.
31.
Page 31. Original man, know thyself. 50,000 years ago, the tribe of Shabazz. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made the point that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that every 50,000 years, 2 stars appear in the southeastern skies. And the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, doing the criteria, said those 2 stars are present today. So we've been through with the tribe of Shabazz 150,000 year reign of a universal change that brought in the Caucasian 6,000 years ago after being in charge for trillions of years. Okay, brought the Caucasian out. And that was a universal change. Now it's time for another one. Those 2 stars are present today. Read on, baby.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go back a little bit because I want to make sure they understand his point.
Please.
He says, he decided to kill us by destroying our planet, but still he failed. We were lucky to be on this part, Earth, which did not lose its water in the mighty blasting
In the mighty blasting away.
of the part called Moon. Okay?
Deportation.
That's right. We, the tribe of Shabazz, says Allah God, were the first to discover the best part of our planet to live on.
Yeah.
The rich Nile Valley of Egypt and the present seat of the holy city Mecca,
Holy city of
Arabia.
Mecca, Arabia.
The origin of our kinky hair, says Allah, came from one of our dissatisfied scientists 50,000 years ago, which my husband just explained, who wanted to make all of us tough and hard in order to endure the life of the jungle of East Asia, Africa, and to overcome the beast there. But he failed to get the others to agree with him, the other scientists.
Okay. He failed to To get the others to agree with him. Read on.
He took his family and moved into the jungle to prove to us that he could live there and conquer the wild beasts. And we have.
Okay. He took his family from Egypt, here, and down into, some people call it the Bantu migration, down into Africa to get us tough.
That's right.
And make us to conquer the wild beast. I forgot to print that picture out. I was going to put it on the display. It was a picture of a black man in Africa facing off with a lion. The lion is jumping at him and he got his spear and he's finna take out the lion. That's the kind of manhood training we used to have in the jungles of Africa, preparing us for something. Right. Read on, baby. Read on.
That we live in now.
That we live in now. Come on.
So being the first and the smartest scientists on the deportation of our moon, and the one who suffered most of all.
Being the first and the smartest scientist. I mean, only Elijah Muhammad shows his love for this man Shabazz because he knows that this man is being prepared for something. Greater take. Shabazz, that's the tribe that we black people in America are a part of, as well as in the Caribbean.
Yep.
But it also have a subtitle, and that subtitle is Greater Taker. Yeah, we rebelled against the scientists, but it made what Africa or the jungles of Africa did for us was made us tough and ready for the transatlantic slave trade. That's why I'm going through all this. Because we were prepped for this. This Caucasian can't put nothing on us that we ain't got the strength to take. And God got a reward for us, and we're going to get into that as well.
That's right.
Come on, baby. Allahu Akbar.
Okay, it says, Allah God has decided to place us on the top with a thorough knowledge of self and his guidance.
A thorough knowledge of self and his guidance. That's why he came.
That's right.
Black people, I know you don't believe that nobody cared nothing about you because of the sojourn of slavery, but you are the fulfillment of Abraham's prediction of 400 years. So after that, God said,